Everyone, welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our FA Cup tie with Crystal Palace. We'll start off with Vinny at Sky.
Sean, obviously we're going to have to start with the latest PSR charge. Was this news less out of the blue even than the previous charge? And did you know that the club had submitted a PSR figure that effectively put them in breach of the rules?
Yeah, I knew before the news breaking, not too far before. They fill me in when I need to know basis. I think it's. I think one of them a bigger picture view, if you like. I've been here approaching a year, and in my timeline, and certainly by the recent stats and facts, I think it's the bottom 3 or 4 net spend over the last 3 or 4 seasons. So there's a start point of the club motioning to do things correctly. Since I've been here, as you know, we let players go out of contract who some we would have kept, but we couldn't do that. We've been working hard to lower everything here. And we sold 3 young players in the timelines we were given to make sure the money was in. We wouldn't have normally sold them young players, quite obviously. New stadium speaks for itself. The effect that'll have on the city, as much as anything, the Evertonians. The old stadium being developed for good causes, which you certainly know of. Alongside that, trying to still put a team out there that can be competitive, of course, and all the things that go with that, still trying to work within the numbers, signing players who we don't even do deals until they're a year's time, and trying to find ways to still be competitive as we could do. And then, you sort of end up with an on-pitch sanction, and you're like, well, we're trying to do everything we can to solve all these conundrums. There's a mistakes we made, I'm sure, down the years there has been, but that's natural part of football, particularly with player training. It's not an exact science. It's very difficult, in fact. And you come away with it, and we get the initial spell, which is still the focus, the appeal side of things, and you lose 10 points, and you think, well, it's an on-pitch sanction, but we've actually been cutting the idea of being on-pitch powerful, by resources, by trying to do the right things. So it's a bit of a tough one in my timeline of a year to take, and we still haven't found out about the appeal yet. We're still waiting on that and news on that. But I think that's a broad view of there's a lot going on at this football club. They've tried to do right, and then within amongst that, or shortly before I got here, or relatively shortly, a war, and you've got sanctions on ownership and all that. So it's a strange situation to get an on-pitch sanction of 10 points, which we're still waiting on the appeal, quite obviously. Who knows what comes next? So we've got to watch this space. So really, I suppose that encapsulates a sort of a year's view of what's been going on. I'm trying to give you a feel of it, and I must make it clear, that's my common sense feel view as a football person. I haven't got the minutiae of the rules and the regulations. That's for the powers that be and the lawyers and all stuff like that. But I think sometimes you put all that in the melting pot and you go, well, there's no on-pitch advantage there. We get an on-pitch sanction. So that is a tough one, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, we hope there's better news comes out of the appeal. Then the next bit comes along, and that's kind of some of that's encapsulated in all of that. Who knows what comes next? I think we're all wondering, we're all scratching our heads, and certainly we're hopeful that a change in what's going on occurs, and we get some points back, and it's probably looked at a bit differently.
If you'd known all this was coming along, would it have affected your decision to take the job?
No, I don't believe so. I don't mind getting my teeth into something. It's a great history, great club. Great old stadium. We know that the new one's needed, but it's a great old stadium, one that I've been to many times, and so, these chances don't always come along, and the perfect job, when you're an out-of-work manager, the perfect job is very rare. You're probably going to get something with its challenges. I would suggest there's been more here than a lot of jobs that I was offered down my 9 or so months out of the game, but I'm never going to knock that, and I thoroughly enjoy the challenge that's right in front of us, and I think the players are relishing it. I think the fans are more than playing their part. They travel all over the place. They get behind us in good voice. Strangely, there's been a coming together of the people and the club and the badge again, and I'm very, very proud of that. It doesn't solve everything, but I think that's a very good sign of a club that is willing to come together to fight, come together to protect itself, and come together to come through the challenges that are quite obviously right in front of us.
As you mentioned, the appeal. I mean, what's your take on the situation where the club is charged for a PSR breach in a period that covers 75% of the timescale in which the club has already been punished, and that second charge comes before the appeal, as you rightly say, the appeal against that punishment has been heard?
Yeah, I mean, the times, like I say, they're a bit of a challenge for us to understand why they're there, but like I say, I'm not going to go into the rules and regulations because I'm sure they were laid out. I don't know all of them. I was trying to give a sort of a view from what my view is, looking at it all and trying to give a common sense view of what it looks like to me. As you suggest, a lot of the judges are already wrapped up in the last one, so I don't, where they differentiate that. I think the overlying thing that we're scratching around about is the first situation, really, and our focus remains on the appeal, because the first situation to get 10 points, I don't think it was just me that was shocked. I think the media, the pundits, the football people, fans, I think, across the board were shocked. So we've got to wait and see what the appeal brings. That might change and alter my view, but it won't alter the bigger picture view, because what I mentioned is all, as I see it, correct. We got inside the timelines to put the money back into the system the best we could, selling young players. The works on the stadium is quite obvious. The sanctions about the war, we can't do nothing about that. And we're still trying to be competitive and keep the integrity of the league as well. Put a team out there that can be competitive and try and gain, a better foothold in the division. That's for sure in the last couple of seasons. So I think there's a lot of really good work done. And I remember the idea of the early days of the PSR kind of motioning towards the protection of clubs, and how it would be used to protect the situation and to bring finance into a more controllable situation. So I haven't lost sight of that. Where does that play its part? But like I say, going back to the pitch, a football sanction for very, I would say, at length to stretch to footballing reasons, because we haven't gained anything from all the things I've just told you. There's been no on-pitch gain, and yet we've got an on-pitch situation with 10 points. So, but it might correct itself. We've just got to wait and see.
At this stage, though, how concerned are you at the prospect of maybe another footballing sanction and another points deduction?
Well, because of the first situation, I think we're all wondering. That's the honest answer. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. It'll get heard in accordingly. The appeal's the first thing. Our focus remains on the appeal from the last part of it, and see where that takes us. I think that's all we can do because of the shock to everyone and the first part of it.
What guidance are you getting from the powers that be at the club above you as well?
Well, the guidance really for me is a different thing, because my guidance is my own guidance towards the team, which is we stay focused. I think we've done a good job of doing that. The players deserve a lot of credit so far, because they have stayed focused. I think the on-pitch situation has remained strong. I think the performances have remained strong. A really great run of performances that got wins, a good run of performance that didn't, but that's sometimes the Premier League. And my insistence on myself, the staff and the players staying focused on the job in hand, which hasn't changed. That side of it hasn't changed at all, from when I got here. Can we improve? Can we get better? Can we get stronger? Can we develop the players further? I think there's signs of all of that. Nothing's achieved yet. Well, the first achievement was to stay in the division. That was done. We've continued that process under some testing, challenging times, but they are still there. So therefore, kind of weirdly becoming a norm, which is not the norm I was hoping for, but these are the circumstances, so the players have got to get on with it, so have I.
You had to meet with the players again, though, and kind of repeat the message that you...
Yeah, it's more repeating. It's a soft meeting. There's nothing... They got, the first meeting when it all happened was a bit more informed, a bit more depth. Explained similar to what you said about a lot of this being wrapped up in the last bit, etc., etc. So, and just reminding them of the good work they're doing and stay focused, because the performances are what we're after.
A side issue is that Richard Masters today gave the impression that a decision on the potential takeover could be weeks away, whether the Premier League decides to ratify the takeover or not. I mean, again, how difficult a position does that put you in? And what are you hearing as regards that? Could it be sooner, or don't you even know?
No, it's I don't know about that side of things. I've explained it hasn't changed yet. With very casual meeting, no promises made from their behalf, just suggesting who they are, speaking to us, as I said, about the club and how found it and that sort of thing. So no more on that until there is more. And currently it's just an ongoing situation with the Premier League and all the situation of clearing up the fit and proper and all the rules and regulations and all that side of things. So onwards and upwards, we keep marching on and keep fighting on and keep playing hard.
How do you stay focused? Because the club is in limbo in more ways than one at the moment.
Yeah, but you got it. The job in hand is still to win football matches. That it doesn't solve everything, but it doesn't half help. When you get that right. So I think I've never lost sight of that. Even beyond, on a smaller point than the big points we're talking. When people talk about football brands, I've only ever said I want to win. I said I want to play effective football that can win. Hopefully, you play it in a way that people enjoy, but the job is to win. That hasn't changed. It won't change. I've made that clear to the players without a doubt, and the staff. And that's a prerequisite of the job. You should all want to win. Some of it we can try and control through doing through performances and winning, but we can't control everything. I made that clear to the players. We control the controllables, which is our performances to try and win games.
We should talk about some football. So I wonder
No,
what you
shall
take.
we?
Finally,
One of the rare weeks, or one of the rare moments in the week since I've been here.
I wonder what you take from the performances against Palace and against Villa that maybe give you something to build on once again.
Well, I don't think we're far off. Apart from the Wolves game, we stepped a long way off. I thought there was extenuating circumstances. Not going to bother going all through that again. Tottenham, very good performance. You know, I thought we played well enough to get something from that game. Even against Man City, a couple of mistakes maybe cost us. Decent performance without a doubt down at Palace. Obviously a strange sending off that got turned over. Bring them back up here and take on the next one. Not forgetting the Villa game. I mentioned, I think they're a very good side. They're proving that. To keep a clean sheet against them is a good sign. We've got to do better with the ball at times. We know that. But they are a good outfit and they're awkward to play against. And they've shown that all season.
Couple welcome distraction at the moment.
Any distractions welcome at the minute. Anything. I was like getting on the grass and actually watching the lads doing a bit of coaching and watching the games and trying to get a win.
But is it a similar attitude that you're going to take into this competition again, as you took into the EFL Cup and obviously went to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've made it clear that every game's important. This one's no different. It's important again. I think we went down with the right attitude and manner to go and win down at Palace. We didn't get the win, but we brought it back here. So that's the mindset. Whatever team goes out there is 100% clear-minded that we want to win the game.
Just check on team news. Ashley Young ready yet, Delhi?
Quite a way. Excuse me. Yeah, Delhi's a different situation. Young is back on the grass with us, training with us, but it's too quick to come around for him. A couple of knocks. Shames maybe. Dukes maybe. They've got a couple of knocks. More fatigue, and for Duke more fatigue. Shames has got a tightness in his hamstring, so we're going to have to make a decision on that. The rest should be about right.
Yeah, no problems with Vitali. He took a bash on the head, didn't he?
Oh goodness me, honestly, goodness me. Stitches, I said to him, just get a bit of glue on it, he'll be fine. But, no, them two are fine. Superb performances from both of them, actually, but they're fine.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to Ian at Radio Merseyside.
Hi, Sean. Just wondering, just alluding to what you've just spoken about briefly, but in terms of how important the FA Cup is in terms of having a cup run and how it can affect, possibly in a good way, the positivity that you're having to sort of generate.
Yeah, there's no lack of positivity. It doesn't need a cup situation to change that. I think there's been a positive mood all season. It helps, of course, when you're winning games. So I'm more interested in winning at this stage. You know, that winning feeling we've worked hard to get. We've done it this season on many occasions. We've got to refine that, and I think that's part of it. The fact it's a cup game is one of them things. It's just part of the fixture list. I've always had respect for the cups, but we know it's not the same respect as the Premier League. We know where it lives. That's the key aim again. But we've made it clear through the cup competition so far that we're putting out sides that we believe can win.
And you've earned the right to have a home tie, having got the replay. And if you can win, there's a big incentive there because you will have another home tie in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, it's we want to be at Goodison. We want to play there. The fans have been absolutely terrific. They continue to be so. So, you know, that's an added incentive to win the game, of course.
And is it just a case now of finding goals? That the last 3 games without a goal, although 2 clean sheets as well. So
yeah, I mean, you know, there's a balance to be found. I've spoken about endlessly, and we found it at times. You know, we're not far off at the moment. We're creating still, and I think against some good sides as well. You know, so a lot to be liking about the performances, even against Villa. You know, we know they can deal with the ball. They've done that all season. You have to defend properly, and we did. The back kind of 5 unit were excellent, I thought. The team in front doing their bit as well, just with the ball. We've done better in other games and affected the opposition more times than we did against them. That can sometimes happen against the teams that have high confidence and high up the division as well.
Thanks, Ian. Alex?
Hi, Sean. Just on the FFP again. At the end of the season, if teams are charged, the table might not be finalised pending appeals, which could lead to a bit of a chaotic period. Just wondering what you made of that scenario.
Well, I can only imagine that with all these things going on, it takes time to get all the people necessary to do it. I think if they get it inside of the season, I think that would be helpful. I don't think anyone wants to finish the season and be scratching their head wondering. We'd like to think we won't be in that predicament, but you never know. Someone might be. But yeah, I mean, it's what I presume it's just a physical thing. They can only get these things done so quickly. That's the only thing I can imagine. I haven't really looked into it, but that's the only thing I can imagine. So I would think they'd want to get things done inside of the season as well.
Any further questions in the open section, Phil?
On Pickford after his weekend, you said that played well, he's leading the race for goals as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think there's a team ethic, and I think he's aware of that. You know, we ask all players to attack and defend together, and I think that's shown with the defensive side. At times, the attacking side, I still think we can be more clinical in that side of the game. But yeah, he's getting a reward for his part in a team that works very hard to defend properly.
Any further questions in the open section? No? Okay, we'll move on to the newspapers. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.